Guys, welcome back to Beyond the Beat. My name is Dave McKenzie. It's so good to see you. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this stream, and stay cool. All right, over there is our airline guitar. This is the last or second last day that you can sort of take part in the challenge to win it. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, hit like on the videos, actually leave comments. If you sort of take part in the channel by leaving comments or on the stream, then it gives you another chance to win. Every time you take part, it gives you another chance to win. We'll be doing all the tally tomorrow, doing the draw, and then revealing who won it on Friday. So it's very exciting. So today I'm going to dive right into how to change the strings on your acoustic guitar. The reason you want to change the strings on your guitar is because they get old and gross, and you need to change them so that they sound good again, all right? When you put on new strings, it sounds amazing. They just sparkle and it's so beautiful. So make sure that you do it. Old strings get rusty. They get like dirt and gunk on them, and I'll show you, like the neck gets kind of gross. Like it's really important to do this once in a while. And when you do it, you'll find that it makes your guitar sound like $1,000,000, especially if you're recording. All the harmonics come clear. It's just incredible. So I'm not going to say any more about it. I'm going to show you what you need. You need a package of strings. These are overpriced. I bought them at Beyond the Beat, and just don't buy anything from anyone at Beyond the Beat, especially Dave. It's awful. They'll gouge you. No, they're cheaper than everywhere else. Just kidding. Buy your strings here. And these are light gauge. I usually use medium gauge, so I may have to do an adjustment to my guitar after. You have to find the gauge that's right for you. Light gauge, you can bend them a little bit more. Medium gauge have a little bit more resonance, and they're thick and they sound a little bit more full. So I tend to go for a thicker string. So these are some strings. Wire cutters. Get a good pair, like set. I like these sort of like hammerhead shark wire cutters. That's not really what they're called, but they kind of look like it. They'll just come and catch you. So these are great. You need to clip your strings. Needle nose pliers, all right? Some dust in there. This is for removing like pegs, tuning like sort of like string pegs from your guitar. Be careful that you don't hurt your guitar with these when you're working with it. Just like don't drop them or something. Like be really careful, but you need them, so they're important to get. You don't need this, but it's nice to maybe take advantage of, you know, the fact that you're cleaning your guitar off, and you can sort of spray it down and wipe away any dust or fingerprints and just sort of make your guitar look pretty again. So some spray cleaner for the guitar. And then I'm almost out, but this is lemon oil for the fretboard. It's really great to oil the fretboard and clean out any dirt that sort of grimed its way in there, and it just, you know, it keeps the neck of your guitar healthy. All right, and then I use paper towels. It's almost better to use like a cloth or something, you know, and that you can clean, but paper towels will work in a pinch. All right, and then you need a guitar full of old strings that sound dead. All right, so here's my guitar, and we're just gonna start. Okay, so some guitars have different headstocks, all right? Mine, generally acoustic guitars have the tuning pegs on either side, and you'll see that the bass strings, like the wound, these three wound strings, the E, the A, and the D, all the pegs are on this side. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start loosening the strings. I'm just gonna loosen each one a little bit. I don't like to loosen all this, like the strings completely, you know, on this side first, because I don't want to have too much pressure on one side of the neck. I want to just sort of gradually loosen the strings. It makes me feel better. It probably won't save the guitar from a problem, but when you do things, you know, sort of uniformly and evenly, you'll find that it's better. And so now I'm just continually loosening all the strings until they are just slack. So on this side of the guitar for your bass strings, okay, you turn clockwise to loosen it, all right? To loosen the strings. On this side, you have to turn the opposite way, so sort of counterclockwise, okay? And then once they're all loose, the way that I like to do this is I like to clip them. If there's any tension in the string, it could like whip you. So this one will have a little bit of tension, but it won't be bad, right? So then I clip them right here at the sound hole. And now my guitar is a little different. So I've got a second guitar behind me that I'm going to demonstrate this with. But what you want to do is you take the guitar strings out. So this is a very unique bridge though. So I've got a special guitar lined up to show you what to do with your guitar. I'll do that now. So we've got all these little string ends. They're pretty much useless. You can recycle them. Now here, this will be the same as your guitar, so pay attention here. Start with your low E string, unwind the rest of the string, and then sort of smoothly guide out the string. Don't pull too hard on it. Like if something's hung up, don't put like too much pressure by pulling hard. Use your pliers to straighten out the string to get it out, because we don't want to damage the machine head in any way or like cut it or like make a metal, like we don't want to make like a weird notch in the machine head. We want to keep this clear. If it gets sharp, it could actually cut the strings on your guitar over and over again, so you'll tighten the strings and then your string breaks. That happened to me when I was 17 and I was so frustrated because it was like expensive to buy the new strings and then time consuming, and then when I get the strings changed, then the string would break. I was like, what's going on? So just unwind it, pull the string out without damaging the hole, and then what I like to do so that I can throw the strings out is I wind the string around my hand, around my fingers, and then this little last bit I just sort of wind around the string that I just wound. And then it just sort of, you can wind the other side. And now you've got this perfect little string to throw out. See? It's so easy. Try not to hurt yourself. There's little sharp string ends up here. Like these little ends can sometimes stick into you, especially the smaller strings. It hurts. Don't not change your strings because you're afraid of getting pricked by a guitar string, but just be careful. We'll talk more about that. So there we go. 3 more to go. Now, what else can I say? There's dust. There's usually dust and things at the headstock of the guitar that collect. And what you're going to want to do is, as soon as you get all the strings off, you can sort of wipe down the headstock, and it's a good opportunity because the strings are gone to clean your guitar and make it look nice. And just care for it. It feels really good to do this, and it puts you in a good space. It just takes a little bit of time. So make sure that you have a cool album that you love and put on some music. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray a little bit of guitar sort of polish like on this, and then I'll just wipe down the headstock, and you know, it just gives me a chance to sort of wipe off any dust or any debris that might have fallen under the strings. Some of these can get a little loose sometimes. You can sort of finger tighten the bolts, and if you have the right size ratchet set, if these are really loose, you can sort of take the opportunity to fix any problems there. Now I might just put a little bit of polish on the body of the guitar and then continue to polish it. This guitar is so beaten up, which I love about it, you know. It's this it's been played every day for so many years, and it's just I had a student drop it once and it broke. We got a crack in it, and then I've got it fixed, and then I played it so much that I wore through the wood, and I bought a pick guard, and it's like this sort of, I love the fact, I don't mind that it's all banged up now a little bit. You know, your first bang on your guitar is terrible. It's like I'm all or nothing when it comes to that. This guitar is so banged up that I actually really like it, and I appreciate that it's a well-played instrument that's been worn down. Okay, so it's polished up a little bit. Now comes for the really important part, okay guys? So here's your neck. You're gonna wanna put some lemon oil on the wood. So just dollop like 1 drop on each sort of fret, okay? If your guitar has never done this, if you've never put oil on the neck, it will probably take 2 dollops or 3. You don't need to get it soaking or anything, right? Like you just need to have enough oil that you can wipe the neck down and get all the gunk off of it, all right? So I'm gonna take another paper towel, maybe 2, and I'll just sort of do that. Now you can see all the oil in. And now I'm going to lightly sort of try to smoothly put the oil over the whole fret. I'm not going to sort of rub it in yet. I'm just trying to spread the oil around, give the wood a chance to soak in the oil. Right? Makes it all nice and good. And then what I want to do is I want to start cleaning the neck. You'll see it's sort of gross and like there's like dirt that gets in there. And that a lot of that dirt is right here, right built up along the fret, so you can sort of use your nail to sort of try to clean the dirt that's worked its way into the fret, near the fret. My guitar needs a fret job. All the frets are worn out pretty badly, and it's actually starting to affect the playability or just like the sound. So it's gone a long time without getting a full fret dressing or a full fret replacement, but I think it's time. So I just don't want to part with the guitar for 3 weeks or whatever, right? But it's worth it. You'll notice a lot of dirt comes out. It's so satisfying to just get this done and make your guitar all shiny and new. And lemon oil smells really good. Well, some people might not like it, but I like the smell of it. So that's finished, all right? I'm going to quickly show you a very important thing. Mostly this is what the bridge setup for putting strings in or taking them out is for a guitar. So you'll notice that there's these little pegs, okay, string pegs. Now, I took a string off here of this nice little Yamaha to demonstrate, all right? So what the peg does, so you need your needle nose pliers, and again, be careful around your guitar. You just sort of pull it out, all right? And now your string is down here. Sometimes it gets caught down there. Don't just rip it out of there, but you might have to like sort of fish it out a little bit or it gets caught. And then you can see there's the bearing tip that the string is wound around, all right? So once that's out, that's good. You can just sort of, don't lose these things either, right? Like, it's annoying to have to replace them, so don't lose your string peg, okay? Now, pretend this is a brand new string. This is how you would replace the string. What you do is you put the bearing in, and each of these pegs, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a groove. I'm gonna turn this. There. See that little groove? So the groove is so that when you put it in, the string sits in the groove, okay? So and then you notice the bearing sort of goes, this peg pushes the bearing down. So the string has to sit in the groove, then you push it down. Now you hold it here and you pull the string tight, okay, while you're holding the peg down or it'll fly out on you. And then what you do is you thread the string through the machine head here, if you can. Normally it's easier with a brand new string, but I just got this old string that probably needs to be replaced, to be honest. Okay, and then I like to get the eye of the machine head straight up and down, right? So that it's easy to put it in. If it's on the side, it's kind of annoying. And then once it's in, you try to get this much string slack. You pull it all the way through, and then you push it back through. I'm going to do this. I'm going to demonstrate this again after. And then what you do is you sort of make a little notch in the string. You hold the string with your right hand. I'm going to do a much better description of this in a bit. And then you turn this counterclockwise so that the string is winding on the outside, like on the inside, facing in, okay? We don't want the winding facing out. So we're wrapping it around here, turning it counterclockwise, and then you want to sort of guide the string under the first layer of string that comes around so that it goes on nice and neatly. You don't have to bring it up to pitch, and then that's done, okay? So that's how you replace a string with the string pegs. Now, for this guitar, it's a little bit different, so you won't really need to know how to do it on this guitar unless you have a bridge that's similar, where you just thread the strings through. So just open up your pack of strings. For the Dario strings, it's color-coded. Here we have the first string, which is the littlest string, the thin high E string, is gray, B is purple, G string is green. You want to make sure that you put the correct string on. It's really annoying if you don't. You may cut the string. It may not ever work again because it could be the wrong length or something after you've put it on. So get this right. A string is red, E string is gold. Okay? So rip into the plastic. Be careful when you're doing so because there's all these little metal string ends poking out, right? So I always start with the thick strings. So the E and the A string are sort of wound up together. And then you just kind of let them go crazy, set them free. And then I'll put the A string up here if I can find it. And then for me, it's different, right? I have to just sort of thread this through. And then I don't have to deal with that sort of. I just make sure it's pulled through and it stops there. Now, so I'm going to describe this again for you because this is going to be the same for you. This is very important. You set up this little hole so that it's pointing straight up and down. You thread your string through the front here, and you pull it all the way through, okay? All the way through. Now, what you do is you use the next machine head to measure. I usually use, that's how much slack I'm going to want to send back through the hole. That's how much string we need to wind on here, okay? And it's really good to do this in a uniform way so that it's the same every time. So you push it back through, you make a crease on the opposite end in the string, you set the guitar string in your fingers, okay? And then you use your index finger and your thumb to guide it. This, you may have to change the strings a few times to get good at this. It doesn't matter. It might look a little bit gnarly the first time you do it, and it's okay. You'll get better at it as you do it. Don't be intimidated. You keep a little bit of tension on the string, and you wind counterclockwise. I loop the string under this guitar, the wiggly string. Some people go over first and then under. You have to leave a little bit more slack for that. I just go right under, and then when the string comes back again, you go under again, and you make sure that it's nice and uniform, that it's not all wacky and like looped on in a really messy way, because sometimes then the guitar string could slip out, or it could, you know, it's better to just sort of wind it on like a little hangman's noose. And then you keep a little pressure while you're winding it on so it's wound on nice and snug. Don't let the grooves run through the nut, or you'll wear down the sort of groove in your nut that's there for your string. Now I can put it in, bring it roughly up to pitch. That's good enough. And then we can go on to the next string, our A string. All right? I think A is red. Forgot. This might be wrong. Oh, that's my old A string. Yeah, no, this is absolutely right. So A is red. So this is the last string I'll do for you today for this tutorial, and I'll let you guys sort of deal with the rest of it. But there's a last little step that I'd like to teach you, so don't go away, okay? So we pull it through. I use my needle nose pliers. Just be careful when you're clunking around that you don't whip you know, your guitar with the string or do any damage to your string with any of the tools that you're using. It's always heartbreaking if your guitar is pristine and then you damage it. My guitar has been around the block. So it's been abused, you know, but loved too. So pull it all the way through, push it back through, okay? Grab it with your fingers, make the groove, right? And then counterclockwise. When you do the other side, which is much more difficult, by the way, this side is a little bit harder. You have to turn clockwise, okay? So the string should always be wound facing inward on the headstock, okay? That's always got to be like that. It's very important that you do that every time, or you may be trying to tune a string and loosen it, and you actually may be tightening it, and you may break a string inadvertently if it's not wound on properly. Oh yeah, I should do another one. That's a good call, Shruti. Like that. Okay, so this one I didn't do as well. It's a little bit loose up here, but it really won't change anything. It's just like an OCD thing. But it is really nice. Like, you'll get good at this and it's fun to do it well. So keep the pressure on and tighten it and wind it on so that it looks uniform and that it's all good, so that when you loosen it or tighten it, the string doesn't slip or do anything weird when you're tuning it, right? Then you seat it in the saddle or in the nut. Bring it up to sort of pitch. I think I'm going to need to release my... Actually, I should talk a little bit about this. There's different gauges of strings. This is a light gauge. This is a great gauge for sort of if you're bending strings a lot on your acoustic guitar. You can go to ultra light or like extra light if you want to do some super bendy stuff, but then the strings aren't as thick, so you don't get the same lovely bass frequencies out of the string. So I prefer a medium gauge string, but I'm out. So I'm just using these light gauge strings. So my guitar strings may be rattly a little bit against the frets after I'm done. So at which point I'm going to have to release the tension on my truss rod a little bit. I'll do that in another video though. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to put one string on the other side. So we'll go over here to our little pile of strings, our trusty pile of strings. And here's your D string and your G string. So D is black, and the D'Addario color-coded set, and G is green. So we'll put the G string on so that you can see how to do this side. All right? And again, if you're just tuning in now, my bridge is a little different than the bridge on your acoustic guitar. So I did a demonstration earlier in this video of how to put the string into the bridge, into the saddle of your guitar a little while ago in this video. So scroll back. Oh, I'm putting it through the wrong hole. Years of doing it in the right order made it impossible for me to get this right. Here we go. Okay, so this will be the last string that I put on for you. We've skipped the D string for, skip the dishes. We've skipped it for your viewing pleasure, all right? Just to get through this. So when you get to the end of the last machine head, how do you measure? Well, you just sort of measure it with the end of your headstock, okay? So that's how much string, so you've pulled it tight. This is how much string you're gonna push back through. And again, you do the same process, right? You grab the string with your fingers, and you're going to grab it with your thumb and you're going to guide it. Now I'm going to crease it. I'm going to crease the string, and I'm going to use my thumb to guide it, and I'm going to, with my left hand, this is a little bit awkward. This is something that people wrestle with a little bit when they're learning, is I'm going to turn the tuning peg clockwise now. And you're trying to keep pressure on the string and guide it. You sometimes may want to crease this so that it's pointing up. There, that's settled a little bit better. It's good. And keep on turning. There are plastic devices that you can put on the string, on the tuning heads, and like crank it. Those aren't the best. I find that if you're rough with that at all, or it's easy to make these things loose and damage your tuning peg. So just do it with your fingers. It's not that hard. you know. But you can see that it's like physically a little bit awkward to reach over and keep the guitar sitting on your lap, and you know, it's kind of tricky. So now we've got it sort of tight, seat the guitar string, and then now you can, now that it's done, you can put it up like this, and you can tighten it. All right, I'm going to show you the last step. Once I've got all my strings on, what I like to do is I like to clip them. So you don't want to clip, so there's two things that you could do wrong here. It's not, you probably won't, I'll just warn you. You could clip the wrong part of the string and make it, and damage the string, and then the string could break on you, which would be irritating. So just be careful that you're not clipping a good part of the string. So what you want to do is clip this off, giving your guitar a haircut. Leave a little extra slack when you clip it. You don't have to clip it right close to the tuning peg. The reason is, these little ends, once they've been cut, are very sharp, like I told you, and you can cut yourself. So now you need your needle nose pliers again, and you can turn this down so that it points in here, okay? Now again, don't damage the tuning peg or any of the metal with your needle nose pliers, but now this is safe, okay? This isn't going to cut you, and that's really important, so make sure that you do that. And don't be intimidated. Rewatch this video. If you're confused about anything, leave a comment in the thread, and I'll get back to you. Definitely leave a comment anyways and say, hey Dave, what's up? I liked the video, or maybe don't ramble on so much or whatever, but leave a comment so that you get a chance to win the Airline guitar. And subscribe to our channel and keep on playing music. It's great. So guys, take care. Peace out. Everybody stay cool and keep picking. All right?